What's up, everybody? It's Make It Make Sense. I'm kind of pre-warning you now. If certain topics might bother you, this may not be the video for you. We are about to go extremely deep. There's a lot of stuff that we're about to cover, and we're going to do it in not a lot of time. So, like the video's intro plays, this is exclusive information, and it's probably going to be some things that you guys have never heard before.
So you gotta make it make sense.
Make it make sense to me intellectually.
Make it make sense. You knew it was up.
Big moves.
Surfer.
Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense.
Tamir tries to control the way I dress, for one. He says that he wants me to, quote unquote, match his fly. So,
Is he failing in the fly department?
Your Honor, this is the thing with Cedric. Going back to me being a public figure, I'm a brand. And I'm really, I have to move and do and say and speak in a certain type of way.
Okay, guys. Usually we do, if you're new to the channel, we usually do like some mess or some foolishness, but this counts. This is not your atypical mess. It says, Boosie says he disagrees with Diddy's charges. I feel Diddy in jail for basically doing what every other famous entertainer has done. Flew B's out for threesomes. He's just freakier. We actually go call women prostitutes who fly in willingly to be with their partners. Boosie should have sat this one out. Boosie is very okay with the fact that he employed adult female sex workers to engage with his, I think it was like a 13, 14-year-old son and his nephew. I don't care how bad the girl is or whatever the situation may be, or if the kid wanted to do it, you have admitted to violating your child. He should sit this one out. If that's the case, that's 80% of the women reading this. If you have ever been flued out and you had intercourse, you should be labeled a prostitute. Are we ready to cancel him yet? How else you got to get the pee? You've never in one place. When I saw that video, I was pissed off at this ninja, like he really got a problem. But facing life in prison for doing basically what so many other entertainers has done, I disagree. This man is trash. And if that's not enough to get him canceled, then you kind of have to look inward and decide who and what you want to be around, who and what you believe. We got like almost 2,000 in the chat. Definitely hit the like button. This information is going to be exclusive. But before we start, I decided to make Diddy a care package. I mean, because prison's going to be hard, and we all know he's not getting bonded out. So, of course, I got him some baby oil. We know what he needs. I got him a flea collar because he's kind of freaky and, self-explanatory. And because I want him to eat well, I got him, a cucumber. A banana. Let me see. An extra large cucumber because, it's Diddy. You never know. And an eggplant for obvious reasons. Anyway, okay. So that's the last foolishness that we're going to get. So to what I heard, because this is going to move pretty fast and there's a lot of people involved. There is a tape being shopped around. That includes Diddy, Mary J. Blige, and one of the alleged victims. When I told you guys that I was going to be putting out a video, this might have been a couple of days now, I did not feel right. I didn't feel right. There were parts missing. So I reached out to a survivor. I reached out to somebody that knows Mary, and I pieced it together. So in the video, let me put my banner up. In the video, it's alleged that Diddy was taking advantage of one of the victims, alleged victims. Mary was involved. But Mary can be clearly heard saying, "This is my rite of passage." That was the part that I couldn't make heads or tails of. And then once I talked to a survivor, they said, that doesn't sound like somebody who's a willing participant. That sounds like somebody who is acknowledging that I have to do this. And that changed everything. So we're going to be talking about a lot of people, but in terms specifically of Mary, the person who we know Mary to be, she's strong, she's beautiful, but there's a hardness to her. If you follow Mary, like I follow Mary, you know that Mary has had substance abuse issues that she's been very open about. She's been open about the domestic violence. But here we go. This was a quote from Mary. All of the women that are coming out and speaking and opening up about their sexual harassment and things that have happened to them, I just want to say I champion you and I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you because once and for all, you're free from a secret that made you hide and hang your head low and made you feel trapped. I understand because there's secrets and things that I've held on to for a very long time and still holding on to, and I just can't come out and say anything about them. I'm happy for you, and I'm happy that you're free. That's a quote from Mary. So we have a tape being shopped around from somebody who had the tape. It has now been sent to, or I guess pieces of this tape have been sent to news stations. The tape has made its way to the feds. I can see you guys will be, I can see you guys will hear this, and there will always be people who say she's not a victim. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. I'm here to say that this will more than likely be hitting the press. This is going to come out. But I would ask that in the course of this video, hear me out. Hear me out. If you've ever heard the term jumped in, put a 1 in the chat. If you've never heard the term jumped in, I would not be surprised. A lot of times people think that jumped in is just a specific term for gang initiations. It's not. There's also something called jumped in when you're talking about sexual things. At the time of this tape, which was VHS, Mary would have been extremely young. But the one person who consistently has done this since the early 90s would be Diddy, not Mary. Mary is not anybody who you've heard anything about outside of her professional relationship with Diddy. We do know a few things, though, based on the lawsuits. We know that Diddy was the first person to put drugs in Cassie's hands. We know that Mary had a drug problem. Is it too far of a reach to think that on the first day that Diddy got Cassie alone, he went to that woman and said, here's some ecstasy. You need to take it. She took it because it was her boss. Now, we can go back and forth all day. I know a lot of people don't feel like Cassie's a victim. That's okay. That's not what my channel is about. I don't tell anybody how they need to perceive anything. But this is an important conversation because it spans multiple people. Yes, Mary is allegedly in that video. But only one person has a history of doing this kind of stuff, and that would be Diddy. Mary and Diddy are about the same age, but Diddy would have been her boss, her producer. There are so many different levels of, what's the word? Control, dominance, submission. If this woman is heard saying, this is my rite of passage, right there, that tells you this is not necessarily what she wants. Somebody said, what video? There's a video that is being shopped around to networks involving Mary J. Blige, Diddy, and one of the victims. And my source actually saw the video. I know there's a lot of blogs. I know there's a lot of stuff. People coming. I don't bring you guys things unless I have the utmost faith in my source. I'm going to give you guys some examples of being jumped in. And some of these are going to be stories that you have heard, but I know one of them, at least one of them, is not. Let me see, who do I want to start with? Let's start with Kim Porter. If you've been following my channel, thank you. I asked that you guys, there's almost 5,500 in here. Let's try to get to 2,000 likes as quickly as possible. This is exclusive content. And if you are new to the channel, please subscribe. I don't consider myself an atypical blogger. I don't try to destroy anybody. I try to see what's behind the surface stuff. Let's start with Kim Porter. We know there was a lawsuit where Kim Porter, hold on, let me show you guys. I can show you better than I can tell you. Here we go, this one. In this lawsuit, you remember there was a young Caucasian lady who says that she started dating Diddy. He was having her around the family, his first Father's Day events and all that. But on this particular encounter, it says in 1996, she showed up to the apartment and Kim Porter was there. Mr. Combs introduced the two women. They went to a nightclub. After the club closed, they returned to Mr. Combs' apartment and they began a night of drinking. A couple hours into the evening, Mr. Combs forced Miss Porter and Miss Lampros to take X. Hence, those were forced. Mr. Combs instructed the women to open their mouths. When they complied with the demand, Mr. Combs forced the pill down their throats to ensure the pills were swallowed. Mr. Combs' hands were so far down Miss Lampros' throat, she gagged. He even checked under her tongues. All of this tracks. Remember, just recently, Dawn put out her lawsuit and she said that she would be uncomfortable at some of these parties and she was forced to stay. She had to go through his assistant to come up with a lie. And even after she came up with the lie, she was forced to stay. I don't want you guys just to think of it as Mary is in this video and this stuff is about to probably hit the media, the courts, and the feds have it. I don't want you just to see it like that. I want you guys to think past the surface level stuff. We have a man here with an alleged history of doing this to women. He goes on, the lawsuit goes on to say, with the combination of alcohol and ecstasy, Ms. Lampros recalls feeling lightheaded. Then after being forced to take it, Mr. Combs then demanded Kim to have an encounter with Ms. Lampros. There is a history there. And another word that is going to be repeated multiple times in this live is jumped in. That is the definition of jumping in. If there's anything I can do with this channel that I actually feel is important and not fluff, it's to show you guys that everybody does not mean you well. And if you know the signs, you will probably be less likely to get involved in things like this. Jumping in, meaning maybe she was okay with being with him, but he wanted to see if she was cool. He wanted to see if she could be somebody who was willing to go somewhere that the average person would not be. So he forces her to take drugs and then forces her to mess with Kim. Now, the lawsuit goes on to say that Kim went on to try to get her fired. I want you guys to view that in a different way as well. When I first read this lawsuit, I was like, well, that sounds horrible. You know, it wasn't her fault. But Kim was also a victim in this situation. And instead of taking her ire out on Diddy, she then takes her ire out on the woman who Diddy made her eat, for lack of a better term. Sorry for, you know, this is an adult conversation. So when you have this in writing and this in a lawsuit, and you hear that Mary was also in a video, you don't know the specifics. You don't know what the catalyst. Specifically, my source said, Mary said, "This is my rite of passage." That can be heard in the video. But we're not done. So that was Kim Porter. We all know Kim Porter, you know, may she rest in peace. I know she would be really worried about her girls right now, especially the girls, because they're the youngest. Okay, let me go to Cassie. Cassie's a much more easy one. Cassie was 19. I think Diddy was well into his 30s. She was actually dating one of his producers. Then all of a sudden, the owner of your label says, well, I want to, you know, take you out. I want to show you around. And as soon as she's alone with him, he allegedly makes her take X. Sounds like a pattern. Sounds like a pattern to me. We know the rest of this story, but it's a story of dominating another person. It's a story of abuse. It's a story of being coerced into very sexual situations. It's jumping in. Once he knew that this girl was addicted to drugs, had no money, had no way out, then all of a sudden, you need to go hire the male prostitutes. You need to pay for them. You make it happen, because she had been jumped in. All of the other men and women that he brought into the bedroom, that is exactly how these people work. And it's at the highest places, highest people in life that they consistently do it, because they have the money to ensure that it happens. And they have the money to ensure that once it happens, they won't get in trouble. Let's move on. I want to move. Okay. Now, this one's going to be probably a little controversial. Everybody has been giving Usher a really hard time. And it's, you know, nobody technically really knows, outside of maybe Quantasia, any real allegations about Usher. But let's get into some things. Usher. We all know that Usher told us this. I can't show you Howard Stern stuff. He does not play. Let me know in the chat if you can hear this.
I moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was La Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp?
Yeah,
Flavor
that's
Camp.
what it was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's
In the 90s. Do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I mean, but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some.
He stuttered.
things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle,
right?
And I saw it, and it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand.
Okay, he's 13 years old. We're getting into some heavy hitters here. Guys, we got over 8,000 in the chat. Definitely hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Usher said all that. I want you to remember Larry Reid is Usher's mentor. He also went on to say that he would never allow his children to do it. He said things like, I didn't know if I was going to engage or how to engage at 13. We do know that Usher left Diddy's house with a desire. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with dating anybody older, but when you're a 13-year-old and you're exposed to very adult women and very adult situations and you see a lot of things, it can warp just maybe the more natural way that he would have developed. He came out with a desire to date much older women. These things we know are true. There's nothing wrong with dating older women, but we're just talking about a 13-year-old who experienced things at Diddy's house.
And what I was even looking at, it was pretty wild.
So nobody tried to, some woman didn't
I'm sorry,
come along.
L.A. Reid.
I didn't say that.
Not Larry Reid. L.A. Reid. I'm sorry. Not Larry Reid. L.A. Reid. It's just that L.A. and the L.A. Reid. Sorry. L.A. Reid.
What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place, and I didn't necessarily understand it.
Biggie Smalls was there.
Biggie Smalls was there. Lil' Kim, Craig Mack.
All these people are hanging around.
Yeah, man. Faith Evans,
And your
Jodeci,
parents were
Mary
okay?
J.
Guys, this is the definition of being jumped in. That is the definition of being jumped in. A 13-year-old Usher is sent to Diddy when everybody in the industry knew what Diddy's proclivities are. That's jumped in. Jumped in is after you're at the height of your career, you just did the Super Bowl, you just did an amazing residency. It does not make sense that Usher is flying to Bali so that he could do a photo op with the little garden gnome. What's his name? Like the little small one, the little nasty dude. Kimura's ex-husband. What's his name? Russell. That doesn't make sense. For Usher to be in his prime, complete resurgence, a part of the everyday conversation, especially after the Keke Palmer stuff, and you fly as soon as you're done with that to Russell so that Russell can say, here, he's still my friend. This kid was jumped in. L.A. Reid, Diddy, Russell Simmons, they're one and the same, y'all. Like, really think about it. Think about it. The dots just start connecting.
Blige, they didn't know nothing about this shit.
Oh,
I was having a good time. You know what I mean?
Does he have you doing any chores? Are you doing dishes at all? I mean, to keep you humble somewhat, or are you just like, can you stay up till 4 a.m. with them and party?
I mean, I could. I actually stayed up longer than them.
and do you have money? What's going on?
I mean, I had like per diem. I had like,
what
like
a
living.
life.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy camp?
Hell no.
See?
Okay, so he gets jumped in. Once you're jumped in, they think you're cool. Once you're jumped in, they think, okay, I have some control. I can kind of shape where you're going. Explain to me how L.A. Reid is your mentor. L.A. Reid is Usher's mentor, and you end up with his mistress. Let's talk about Chili getting jumped in. Chili, beautiful, talented, one of the biggest acts in the world. Pebbles is the one who actually let us know that L.A. Reid and Chili were involved. Is it too far of a reach to think that two people that are jumped in can't be like put together? She dated some of the most prominent, well-off men. Had a baby by Dallas Austin, allegedly was with L.A. Reid, and then Usher was the biggest megastar of his era and of that time. If Chili was indeed, in fact, romantically involved with L.A. Reid, would L.A. Reid let his mistress date his artist? Or would he set that up? These people have a lot more power than you think. Let's move on. Jumped in. I don't know if you saw this. There was a documentary. This lady's name. Oh, let me take L.A. Reid's name off. Okay. This woman's name is Drew Dixon. Who were the two men that took advantage of her? Well, she's not dead. Let me start to say was. Who were the two men that took advantage of her? L.A. Reid and Russell Simmons. You think that L.A. Reid and Russell Simmons didn't talk? This woman was like extremely impressive. She was right there in the mix with all of these major artists. I think she was even the reason that what was it like? Is it You're All I Need, the Mary J. Blige and Method song? I think that was her. Anyway, the point is she was victimized by both L.A. Reid and Russell Simmons. You think that's not a conversation? Y'all, it's being jumped into these things. Once you're in the circle, once you are okay, or they feel like you're okay with it, then they have you. There's a reason why Mary J. Blige said in her quote, take this off. There's a reason why Mary J. Blige said in her quote, I understand because there's secrets and things I've held on to for a very long time and I'm still holding on to, and I just can't come out and say anything about them. I'm happy for you and I'm happy that you're free. You think that Puffy would not be lording this stuff over? When we hear all these things about tapes, we're talking real world application. If you have heads of state, senators, some of the richest billionaires, music moguls, jewelers, you have all of these people at your beck and call, and you can provide them with all of any of their sexual proclivities, then you have a person. I'm not saying everybody's a victim. I'm not naive. I'm not stupid to that. What I'm saying is, if there is one person in this orbit who consistently has done some nasty things with people who did not want to do them with him, it would be Diddy. And I also want to say this, because I think things start to get warped when we talk about sex and sexuality. Humans are sexual beings. The majority of us in this world are sexual beings, unless you are literally like, is it Venus? Venus is a virgin. The girl from Insecure, she's a virgin. There are some people that are virgins, but for the most part, there's nothing wrong with being, having sex and all that kind of stuff. The problem goes in when you take somebody's right to say no. That is the problem. And that is what has happened, whether it's allegations of forcing people to do drugs, allegations of forcing people to have sex with one another that do not want to, jumping people in just to make sure that they're part of the clique. It's not that he necessarily wants to get everybody sexually gratified. He wants to be able to have something over you so that in the future, like him getting arrested, he can call on you to protect him. That's what this is. It's a smokescreen. I'm not saying that these people, when these videos and stuff start to come out, I'm not saying that, they didn't victimize other people. I'm just saying, I want you to look at it as maybe they were also victims. Now, this that I'm about to show you is going to be, I'm going to go out and say this is controversial. Somebody posted a thread yesterday. Oh, hold on one second. Sorry. Somebody posted a thread yesterday, and that thread, hold on. Okay, we got like over 10,000 watching. Let's try to get to 5,000 likes. If you are new to the channel, thank you for subscribing. We're actually super close to our goal of 200,000 by the end of the year. I think we're at like 185. So thank you guys. I know we got some new subscribers, and I appreciate each and every one of you. So this one, I'm telling you, it's a little bit more controversial. but some of the things tracked, and I think it's worth talking about. The group Jodeci. Now, everybody says Devontae is crazy. Everybody says Devontae is crazy, but we don't technically know where that really started. This person posted on a now deleted thread, and the post said that Devontae, now they didn't use the word jumped in, but the post said that Devontae was somebody who they tried to jump in and he was reticent. He didn't do it. He was reluctant. And they said that allegedly Diddy and some of Diddy's goons went and assaulted him. Now, the reason I think that tracks is I don't trust anything coming out of Diddy's mouth. So if Diddy, Andre Harrell, all these people are saying they're crazy, but you don't think that Diddy is crazy, then that's the definition of that person is probably not willing to play the game. They said that this man was assaulted. And so I started going back through some of the lawsuits. If somebody is jumped in, they're probably not going to say anything. For example, Dawn was not jumped in. John tried to help Cassie. Dawn tried to help Kalina when she found out that both of them were in abusive relationships. And what happened? Both Kalina's husband and Diddy went after her, threatened her. Diddy even threatened her life. So that is a person who is not jumped in and could not be jumped in. One of the lawsuits said, let me pull it up for you. Here we go. One of the lawsuits, I think it was Joy Dickerson Neal. Her lawsuit specifically said that, she went on this date with Diddy. He gave her something. She thought it was laced. He took advantage of her. The next day, her lady parts hurt. The next day, plaintiff broke down and tearfully recalled Combs' assault to her best friend. Shortly thereafter, Devontae Swing, a member of R&B group Jodeci, told plaintiff that Combs had filmed himself assaulting plaintiff and had shown the video to Swing and others while working in the studio. That tracks. To me, that tracks. Somebody said, where did I get the video from? No, my source saw the video. The video is in the hands of the feds now. But think about it this way. If you were in a space with Diddy and all these powerful people who want you to do all these things, we did hear that Aaron Hall was making the boys of Jodeci watch. And he said it in such a flippant way, like it was just normal. If y'all are casting out Devontae as if he's the crazy one and he's the only one not complying with all of this other stuff, then maybe he's not the crazy one. Just saying. We gotta have to start looking at these things beyond just the surface level. It's not easy. It's not topics of conversation that's for dinner or, kitchen table talk or whatever. But these things are happening to people. And the more that I know, the more that you guys know, the more that you can see it so that it does not happen to you. All of this stuff, I was talking to one of my sisters about this, and I was saying, this story, everything that's going on with this now, it's dark. And, she's not anything industry related. And she said, what's crazy to me is you really feel like these people's lives are so glamorous and the photos and the pictures and the clothes and everything. But at the end of the day, there's a cost to this if you are involved with the wrong type of person. And it feels like from the sexual stuff to the not paying people, everybody who was involved with Diddy outside of maybe his children are living the life. Vada, the intro. Oh, thank you. Shelly, thank you for the super sticker. Stacy, thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate you. Saber as well. Thank you for the super sticker. How old is the tape? Like 90. It's a VHS. 90. Let me see. I might be able to tell you. Give me 1 second. Let's see. I think it was the girl that was not of age. So if you go back to the lawsuits, I don't think it's Joy, Liza or Joy. You can check out those lawsuits. Thank you, Bondi. Let me see. KB, going along to get along can be even worse. Absolutely. Lily, thank you for the super sticker. I knew if anybody could get the info on Mary J. Blige, it would be you. Thank you for bringing this to the front. I told you guys I didn't like this one. Jill, thank you for becoming a member. Be blessed. Smash the like button. This is exclusive. It was. Blessings. Mims, remember when Mary and Little Kim stopped talking to him for years? They just made up a couple years ago at one of those reward shows. And we all know what Kim went through. I see things as the human element, and these women went through it. Am I surprised now? No, because nothing surprises me with Diddy, but they went through it. Amor, I need everyone to remember that they victimize people constantly, and then they couch them into being the object predator through coercion. Absolutely, Amor. The G-lister. Remember, Mary fell out with Diddy after the My Life album for 2 years. Death Row singer Danny claimed to the Art of Dialogue to have been groomed by Mary after he fell out. Damn. Jamie, thank you so much for the super sticker, friend. And Jessica, thank you for the super sticker. So y'all, there's more. This will come out. As I understand it, the feds already have this tape. How Diddy finagles his way in and out of this, we'll see. But expect that we're just at the front of this. I haven't heard anything about Faith Evans. Somebody says it all makes sense now. All the women having fallouts. Remember Puffy and Mary falling out. Shay, rite of passage equals a ritual or event experience that marks a major milestone or change in a person's life. So y'all, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for all the new subscribers. I appreciate you. Some of this stuff is not easy to discuss, and even bringing it to you in a way like this is not easy. Jessica, thank you for the super sticker. And Billie Jean, smash the like button, please, and thank you. Thank you, guys. I got to run, but I'll see you guys later. I'm definitely going to keep you abreast of what goes on with Diddy. Guys, have a good day. And remember, watch your own back, because it'd be the rich man in the club who you think is just buying you a drink and they then slip something in it. Fellas, too. Thank you guys for being here. I'll see you later.